Alright, so what is next? Well, today I'm going to be going over the Destroyer King cards and what they currently are priced at, where you can pre-order the cards and purchase them right now. So the buyers do have to honor the card price. We're just going to be looking at like some of the higher art cards, like the secret rares and what's being selling out so far, and the SPRs and things like that. Some of the common cards, they're pretty high right now just because of the fact that you can't get them at all right now. It's just some people like to buy singles other than buying boxes, and I think the box right now, we'll check to see how much a box is going for. I think it's like $70 or so online. But you don't get the dash packs or the Brawley packs, since they changed it. But first, we're going to be going over the SPRs from other sets first, just to see how they fluctuate, given the factor of the new decks that are going to be coming out. Are these cards still prominent? Are these cards still a thing? Well, we're going to be looking at that first, and then we're going to be going over some of the SR cards and some of the commons that have changed as well because of the new cards that are be coming out. So the first card we're looking at is obviously going to be Gogeta Hero Revive. The SPR version was going for about $30. They only fluctuate about $3.50 or so, so it's only going to be $26.50. Doesn't look like anyone's buying them out right now. Gogeta is still a factor, obviously. It's going to always be a factor, just because it's a really good game ender, and it can really change basically the flow of the game by resetting your opponent down to 3, just like how Cell was doing. But of course, they touch Cell, they bring down Growing Life Form Cell down to 1, just so Gogeta can, and then Gogeta's still at 4, so it's still going pretty hard there. But they kind of changed it so you can always lean to one way. I think if Cell was still a factor right now, people will still play it just because it would still be a very competitive deck, because you can still drop it at 3 before everyone goes ham. Or like in Brawley decks, like you can have, like if the new Brawley deck, we're sure we're going over some of the cards in there, like the SPR cards, things like that. Like if they did their whole entire assault combo, you awaken turn 2, because that's how aggressive the deck is. Then you're assaulting your Android 17 and 16, or it's Android 17, 18, because that'd be the best way to play the Cell deck. And then you'll just draw 2 from that because you're awakened at 6 life instead of the usual 4. And then after that, you could be using your super combos like Android 16, and then to be negging some of their hands. But they replenish, like Brawley replenishes their hand because the leader's auto basically attacks, and you can draw 6 cards. But after that point, you can just drop the Growing Life from Cell, bring them down to 3, and you can kind of punish them after that, because they're already at low life. Like, for them to awaken so fast, they would have to be at low life. Typically, they're going to be at 3 life, because they play that first 1-drop Brawley to take 2. You attack with your leader, they'll take 3, and then they'll remove that Brawley to be at 4, and sometimes they get a little more aggressive to go to 3 to try to cap the game. But anyways, yeah, Gogeta Hero Revive is going to be at $26.50 if you guys want to pick that up. Height of Mastery Son Goku is going to be at $23 right now, because the Brawley swap is still a thing. Because if they're not maining Time Control Chronola, it's over by turn 4, and if you have Victory Strike, it's really a in-gamer right there. And then we're going to the Final Showdown Frieza, which did drop down $9. It was around $30 when we first looked at it a couple weeks ago. But it did drop down. A lot of people are not playing this as much, but I would think it would still hold its price because of the new Frieza. But the new Frieza deck, or the leader cards, still kind of slow, and people are still trying to find the right balance of extra cards and battle cards. Then honorable mention, some commons here. We got Surprise Attack Majin Buu that jumped up to $10. It was, I think, about $1, maybe a little less, about 75 cents. But because all the Buu support cards are coming out, this card is definitely spiked up. Considered a new SCR, you can really get this out like turn 2, I believe, in a Shenron deck, the SCR card, Majin Buu. So people are really hyping this card up. I already got my playset because I was always a Buu fan before all the before we became big, I guess. So I'm pretty happy on that. Other cards we're going to look at, the promo cards. We got Son Goku Striving to be the best. Still holding at $11.23, so above $10 price range, because it is still a good card. It still shuts down decks that try to go off really earlier with 1-drops and 2-drops. Then we're going to be looking at Bardock, which right now it's going to be at $10, which this is a pretty good price. I'm still waiting for it to be like $5 before I start picking me up on whole new play sets and things like that. Another card that jumped up in price is going to be that Lloyd Slug Return to Form. It's about 10-cent card at first, and now it's up to $7 because of the Lloyd Slug deck that's going to be coming out. And it's really competitive depending on how you want to run it. Some people are going straight up board control with hand control. Other people are going straight up aggressive hand control with a lot of crits and double strikes. There's a lot of ways you can play this Lloyd Slug deck to try to take your opponent down. And since Shinron has always been a threat, it's going to be $11 for that Parallel Dragon Ball card, which is going to be really good. I didn't look at the Purunga cards or anything like that, or the new Dragon Ball cards, just because like this is the original one, so it kind of works out a little bit better from the old sets. But the newer sets, the Dragon Balls kind of look a little off. But so that's what you're going to be picking them up for right now, $11. So we're going to jump right into the SCR from the new sets. Arcane Arcane Absorption Majibu is going for $80 right now. You can pick them up for $80. I'm kind of skeptical if it's going to hold that price. I mean, it's a pretty good card if you read the effect when you play this card. If Evil Wizard Bobbity card is underneath this card, choose up to 5 Agent of Destruction cards from your drop or warp and play them. That's pretty good effect, just because you can get it out so early with some certain combinations. And if you got it out at the right time, because it does decrease, or you can play this for 6 energy instead of 8 energy. In the right kind of ramp deck, you can kind of get this off if you're playing the right kind of. People are still testing. Like I created a deck list with my Soul Striker as well, but it was just susceptible to Dende, which did get nerfed. So now you can't. Now Dende can only be played once per game, basically, only one time. So once you use that Dende, you can't use any Dende anymore. So that kind of helped the deck out. But Borgos is still a thing, and it can definitely. But no one really mains Borgos, but it can definitely take you out game 2, kind of slow you down. But deck maining Borgos is probably a little slower, so maybe you can kind of get this out. So yeah, it's gonna be $80 for this one, for the SCR version. I don't know what the pull rates are because there are 2 SCRs, so it might change and fluctuate just like how Demikara and that Goku Jr. was. So for another SCR, it looks like it's completely sold out for that Brawley Ultimate Agent of Destruction, just because it's a lot more easier to play this card, because its auto is when one of your green battle cards with energy cost of 7 or more is removed from the battle area or by a skill or KO'd. It's like, okay. KO, activate this skill. You may choose all cards other than this card from your hand and place them in the drop area, and if you do, play this card from your hand. So it's way too easy to KO any of your cards in that Brawley deck, the green Brawley deck. And it doesn't say your opponent's skill. You can KO it if you want to, just to kind of go for game. Swing with that 35k attacker, which you're going to be looking at pretty second here, and then pop it with your Brawley leader's effect, because it can choose one of your opponent's cards and one of your cards, and then you KO them, and then you can bring it out. So you can kind of attack, swing at everything, and then keep going for a 40k double striker dual attack that basically drops your opponent's entire hand. So look, for this one, it's actually all sold out. It looks like someone bought it out completely, or the pull rate for this one is a little harder. I'm not too sure. I didn't see any listings at all, and currently I can't check. So for the other card, we got Brawley Limits Transcended. For the SPR version, it's going to be $24.95, almost $25. And this is that final basically chain, the Brawley chain, that you can get out that has one of the most broken effects in the game, just because it ignores barrier. You activate Battle 2, makes it a threat on your turn and your opponent's turn. By choosing one card from your hand and place it in a drop area, you can choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and KO it. So it's like a Shigesh and Shigesh Explosive Goku combination for one card instead of 2. So it's gonna be $24.95 for this one. And then for the SPR OG Brawley, the Supreme Berserker, it's gonna be $47.99 for this one. Let's see how many listens. So there's only 2 listens for this one. You got core TCG and pro play games. Okay, some of the big honchos of the game industry right now for DBS. So they're valuing this at $47.99 for this SCR. Has critical barrier, and once per turn, when this card attacks, if you leave a card as a Brawley, choose one. If your opponent has 3 or less cards in their hand, switch this card to active mode. Okay. That's pretty good. And if your opponent has 4 or more, you can look at your entire opponent's hand and choose 1 card and place in the drop area. That's actually really good. So it's a hit if your opponent has 4 or more cards. That's pretty good. But you can choose any card. So I can see why it's priced high, but I do believe it's going to go down once people start opening up boxes and start doing some trading. Because this is probably going to be one of the most valuable boxes that are going to be coming out in DBS. So we're looking at the SSB Gogeta Fusion Onslaught as well. It's going to be $24.94. So it looks like a lot of them are going to be in that price range of $25 or so. This one, I believe, is the final evolution. Yeah, it's the final chain, I should say, of the Gogeta deck. The one that basically this card can be KO'd and can attack cards in battle mode. And then when a card involves this card, if no battle cards in your play, in playing your opponent's battle area, choose up to 2 cards in your opponent's life and place them in the drop. So it just instantly is a 2 crit, which is really good, and you can bring them out with easy. So you just choose 2 red cards, from your hand and place them in the drop area, and then place it on top of a Gogeta BR card with the energy cost of 6. So that card is going to be $25 for the final version of him. That's an SR. I didn't look at the SPR version. I didn't see too many of them. Golden Frieza, it's going to be $19.92 for the final chain of the Golden Frieza, the one that basically your opponent has to, or anyone has to choose 4 cards from their life and place them in the drop area if they want to play a battle card that's 30k power or less. There are ways to get around this card, but it definitely is a showstopper if you can't, or if you're having trouble getting them out. But it's relatively easy to get them out, but you're gonna have to wait until turn 5 to get them out, because you have to get out the 7 drop first, and then bring them out with ease by choosing 3 cards from your hand and place them in the drop area. Then we're looking to the Agent of Destruction cards. It looks like most of them are going to be ranging from that $13 range. They're probably going to go down to about $10 for the promos, depending on which ones you want. Android 13 Agent of Destruction. Yeah, you can just pick them up for $12.95. There's only a couple listings for him too. A couple people are valuing them for $20, but I don't think that. I think they're going to be open rate, all of them per box, so 1 per box for each, basically. So all 5 Agent of Destruction per box, just like how Clash of Fates were. So I don't think these are going to be that high. Like I said, about $10, just because you have to buy a box. But if you buy a box, you get all 5. But it depends on which ones you need. I think the most valuable one you can get, it's probably Android 13, but Lloyd Slug would probably be more expensive one, the Lloyd Slug one, and then the Gogeta, or excuse me, the Vegeta one too. Those are the top 3. I think the Bojack one, not so much. Oh, actually, the Janemba one might be pretty expensive as well, just because it really works well with Janemba decks. Let me actually try to see if later on I can try to find that one for you. So for the blue cards, they're a little cheaper in that one. They're not getting as much love. For the SR version, it's going to only be $15 for the Ultimate Absorption Majin Buu. They're still going to be pretty good. They're just not strongly competitive because they have a good end game, which is great if you can get up to 5 energies, or turn 5, I should say. But before that, it's really hard. So if you're playing against an aggro deck, you're going to hit it like how Shenron gets hit pretty hard. Except for this one, you don't get the hand advantage. And then we already looked at Gogeta there. So I'm going to try to look at the Janemba deck. Let's see, Agent of Destruction. See how much it's going for right now for pre-order prices. Just because, like I said, this card really works well. So yeah, it's going up $30 for the Agent of Destruction Janemba card. Which I'm not too surprised, because a lot of tournaments are coming up right now. And I know the Florida one, they won't allow you to use set 6, but there's the one after that, and then even the San Diego one at the end of the month, that people are going to want these cards bad. So if you want to play 4 of these, which I don't really highly recommend, I think 3, I personally think 3 is enough. Some people might say 2 is okay, but in my build, in my Janemba build, and I will gladly show you guys, get a deck profile that I run 3 other Janembas. Each other Janembas, including Childish Heart Janembas. I don't think I play Sake Demon, but I like to make sure I'm getting that chain off, just because this deck, or with him, Janemba Agent of Destruction, it makes him so aggressive. Just because he lets you draw 1, replenishes your hand, places 3 cards from the top of your deck. And a lot of people are saying, oh, you don't get to recycle him, but if you have Childish Heart Janemba, then he's always a target. You don't have to go into your deck. Like, he's never going to be in the drop at that point unless you get Crusher Bolt or Cold Bloodlust. I mean, I know he doesn't have Deflect, but I mean, it's pretty easy to get him out. Like, it costs 4 energy still, but you don't need him in your hand. And then you get the untap one at the end phase, which is good too. So yeah, we'll look at the Vegeta Agent Destruction real quickly before okay, there you go. See how much that one's going for, since I do think that's one of the higher ones as well. And then Lloyd Slug last. So it's gonna be $20 for the Vegeta one, and then we're gonna look at Lloyd Slug as well to see how the Lloyd Slug one goes. Demise. Okay, so this one I think is funny. Oh wow, Lloyd Slug one's only be $8, so that's a good pickup too. Since a lot of people, I guess it's weird how the Lloyd Slug return the form is almost expensive as the newer card, just because like I said, common and uncommons are pretty good too. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, if you guys are excited for the new set, definitely start hitting me up with like deck ideas or things like that, things like you guys want to see, because it does revamp a lot of the older decks out there. If you guys like the video, give it a like. If you guys have some suggestions, give a comment. And if you guys are new to the channel as well, please do subscribe. Thank you guys, and see you next time.